When Claudia found us here at How to Buy a Home, she was 30 years old, and she wanted to buy a home by the time she was 35. There were a few problems, though. She was single and wanted to do it on her own with her own income. That income, unfortunately, was coming from her salary as a middle school drama teacher and wasn't a ton of money. And as for her credit score, well, she said it best. So I'm 30 years old, and the only thing on my credit report is defaulted student loans. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, gosh, some of these people are way ahead of me, I got to start from ground zero. This is as zero as it gets, as in zero credit score and $0 saved. You're going to love this story for inspiration. And if you happen to be one of the listeners who's further along, this go-getter Claudia, she also shares great real-life home buying experiences, tips on squirreling away saving techniques, efficient home touring, home inspection do's and don'ts, and accessing down payment assistance programs and grants. Let's get into this story.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
Hey, homies, I am super excited, and I probably just yelled so loud my sound guy hates me. But that's because that's how excited I am. I've got Claudia here today, who is a first-time homebuyer that originally reached out to me in September of 2022. And Claudia, what did you close in March of this year?
Yep.
March of 2025.
Yep.
So it was a simple thing. No big deal, right? No planning, no nothing.
If only, right?
Okay. Well, I guess at this point you're an expert now. 3 years of figuring out how to buy your first home. Give everybody your biggest tip for all the other people out there who think that they can't do this.
I guess my biggest tip would be to take your time if you need to, that there's nothing wrong with knowing like, hey, I'm not going to be able to buy a home this year or next year, but I'm going to put my plan into place. So I knew when I reached out that I was nowhere close, but I knew that I needed to start working now. So
that's awesome. So you're in Michigan area.
Mhm.
I'm not going to give your specific address because you're going to be so charming that people would just come over to your house, want to hang out. So you purchased a home for $160,000, right?
170. Yep.
170. Okay.
Mhm.
So tell me about where you were in September of 2022. Did you ever think you would be able to afford something like that? Were you renting? Were you living rent-free? Where were you 3 years ago?
So I've been living in the same townhouse for 4.5 years, and my landlord had never raised my rent. So I was very lucky, and I knew I was very lucky, but I also knew it was a matter of time. So I kind of felt like I was racing a clock. But no, when I first started looking, I was looking at $100,000 homes, $110,000 homes. So
What were you paying in rent from the most generous landlord in the world?
$700 a month.
Okay. So when you first reached out, were you looking to keep it at that same price, or were you ready to potentially pay more?
I knew I would end up paying more, especially because my townhouse is a 1 bedroom and I work from home now. I didn't at that time, which is weird, but I knew that I would want more space than just a 1 bedroom. So
And what did you end up getting?
I have a 3 bedroom house, 1,900 square feet
Dude,
with a backyard.
oh, I can't explain. I mean, it's Southern California. It's like everything, but in other places in the country, like if you live apartment life, that yard is just major, you
Yes.
know?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what did you jump to from 700? What's your PITI? What's that payment monthly right now?
1,450-ish. There might be a couple extra dollars in there, but 1,450.
Wow. Okay. So when you started, did you get the understanding of okay, I'm going to need to start saving more? What was your path? Because when you started, now tell the listeners, is this just you, just one income, or are you doing this with
Just me.
Just you?
Just me by myself. Yes.
You know, I so want to say, well, Beyonce said it, so single ladies, I'm allowed to say that without getting canceled.
Mhm.
I get so stoked for single ladies, because at some point, you're still a young woman and you probably just decided, 4 years with that one landlord. Well, what was it? What drew you? What was the thing that made you think maybe I should buy a house?
Yeah, so like in 2021, I was 30, almost 31, and I was like, wait, I don't have to wait to get married or find a partner to buy a house because that seems to be the script, right? And so I was like, maybe I want to do this buy a house thing or do this adult stuff. So I bought my first car from a dealer, like my first not full hand cash to somebody, and that's when I learned how horrible my credit was. It's the first time I had ever gone through like a real loan process. And so I was like, oh crap, if I want to buy a house, I have to put in some work. So,
Ooh, okay, so what was the next step then? Did you go and research online? What happened?
I researched online. I found the podcast Bad with Money.
Gabby!
And and your podcast got recommended on that podcast. And so I was listening to that one and started listening to you and I just went, okay, I can do this. And I started like I started from your back catalog from your first couple of episodes and just like tried to absorb as much as I could and kept listening to Bad with Money and tried to absorb as much as I could to, uh, get myself out of the credit score hole I had put myself into. So,
That concept of I'm going to get myself out of this, as opposed to I can't do it, is the reason why you're not in your home because you're still between places right now,
yes.
um, which is a cool thing because you're half moving in. Um, but the fact that you are a homeowner right now is because of that work that you put in for 3 years. Now, was it crazy? Was it a full-time second job, or was it just getting the guidance and doing the steps?
It was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It was learning like what I needed to do.
Uh,
I full on went into my local credit union and asked to talk to a banker and just went, I have a bad credit score and I don't know how to make it go up. Can you help me? And they helped me come up with a plan for what I could do. And that helped a lot. So,
what
um,
do you remember? Spill the tea, girl. We want what it was.
well, like things I've heard before, right? So, looking at my credit utilization, I had never had a credit card. That was a big thing in my family was to never have a credit card. And so I'm 30 with the only stuff on my credit report is me defaulting on my student loans.
Oh,
So, uh, so I don't have anything good to show. So we got me set up with it's like a credit card, but not, right? I put money in and I could use it like a credit card, but there was money there to cover it. So it's kind of like training wheels for a credit
yep.
card. Yep. And then after time,
Deposit credit card.
yep. And then
Yeah.
after time, I was able to bump up to, a different card. And I went through and I made sure I was paying my bills on time, got a hold of the student loans to see what I could do. And yeah, I mean, within 6 months from when I found out my credit was awful when I applied for that first car loan to about 6 months later, my credit had jumped high enough that I was able to refinance my car at a much lower interest rate, which made it easier to save money. So,
It's very strange to explain to people that starting from zero is actually way easier than repairing a score with multiple different credit cards and different history on it. What you're talking about is a secured credit card. You give it
yes.
$500 and you get a $500 line. You're like, what's the difference between my bank account? Well, you're gaining that credit and you're getting good points towards you, and it can grow your score from zero and suddenly you're sitting at like 650. And
Mhm.
after a few months, if you've been using the secured credit card, you can say, cool, can I increase my credit limit now and not have to give you money to do that? And then eventually you can do that.
Yep. I got my credit score when they checked on it, right, for my home loan, and I was very happy to be told my lowest one out of the three was 780 something. So,
Dude. Oh my gosh, that's like saying the lowest basket that I can slam dunk on is 11 feet. That's
right. So
awesome.
that felt good because I was like, all right, my work paid off. I've been putting in work and like being smart about things, and it worked. So,
I understand why, as a country, Americans have really screwed up with credit. It was, they call it predatory. It was just somebody offering you something. And so people did it. And then everyone wants to keep up with the Joneses. But I interviewed a 19-year-old kid from TikTok years ago who bought his own house. And he was like, my friends were like, don't get a credit card when you're 18. That's what he said. He said, all my friends said, you can't. You ruin yourself. And I told him I want to make a t-shirt. He said, it's fine. Just don't be dumb.
yep,
That's the answer to
yep.
credit. Okay, so you got advice from your credit union. That was
Mhm.
great. Did you have a steady job at this time?
Yes. So I was a teacher. I was a middle school
Oh,
teacher
oh,
when I
God bless you.
first started
God
this.
bless.
Yeah. And so, and honestly, on a teacher's income, that like what I was looking at, like $100,000 homes, that would have been what I could have like eventually afforded. I did switch career paths last year, so that made it a little bit easier. So
So
sorry,
you,
teachers.
oh, trust, like it makes perfect sense. So, and you were still able to get a loan. So was the
Mhm.
job within the field of education?
So it's a weird one. So I went back to school to get my master's because I had free credits because I wasn't going to take on more debt, but I had free credits. So I went back to grad school to pursue my master's in educational technology and information design. So I now
Cool.
work for a software company. And so they were able to, the rationalization of my degree uh, led to this career change. They were cool with it.
I think the lesson for that for everybody is there is no hard and fast rule. The
Hmm.
concept of you need to be employed for 2 years, and if you change jobs, that could, yes, generally, but there are wild exceptions, especially if you're doing higher education. But I see this all the time where there's one little word in the job description from job A to job B, and it counts like you worked in the same field forever.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
wow.
I just had to write a letter and they were like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, so then you started with a credit union, and then you reached out to us. So were you
Hmm.
just listening to the podcast and following the podcast before we hooked you up with anybody?
Yeah, it took me a while, I'm gonna be honest, to like work up the courage. I was like,
Dude.
I, well, I was like, I'm not ready. Like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. And then you said enough that like, it doesn't matter if you're a year away, it doesn't matter if you're 2 years away. And I was like, what if I'm 3 or 4? I'm gonna go for it. And so then I reached out. So,
Okay,
yeah, I
you thought you were 3 or 4. How long did it take you?
uh 2.5 years.
All right. So,
So yeah, I mean, I my goal was on my around then, so I was 32 when I reached out. I had
yep.
declared to my friends that by 35 I would own a home, and I will be 35 in the summer. So
Oh my God. Nothing like the deadlines. I love
yes,
it. My wife did the same thing before we started dating. She turned 30 and went, I'm going to buy a house, and started her plan and just did it. And, it was, you know, she's a wonderful, attractive woman, but as a guy coming into a relationship, a lady with property, woo, now that's attractive. So very exciting.
yeah.
Okay, so going through this process, then
Mhm.
working that with your lender, um, when you connected with your realtor, did you start looking at homes like window shopping a year before, or did you wait until you got that pre-approval?
I have been window shopping probably the whole time. I know, like, right, so you would get that itch, and I would like look at homes and then get sad, like, if only I was in a spot to be able to buy this, but like knowing that I wasn't and it would be financially ridiculous for me to try. Um, but yeah, so once I started talking to my realtor, we were just sending each other listings. Like he had me send him some listings I was interested in so that he could get an idea. So we were sending things back and forth to kind of get a good grasp on what I was wanting. So
I tell people all the time the greatest thing about the way that we shop for real estate right now is you can do it in your pajamas with your favorite beverage, and
yes.
you know you start to get crazy the more beverages you have. Though, what about this? That's $700,000.
Oh yeah.
No,
I found a mansion that's like 2 million nearby, and I was trying to convince my friends we should start like a group home for all of us. They didn't go for it,
a
but
house hack.
just a little group home.
There are several groups. There's been, I mean, people have tried to buy homes with GoFundMe's and Kickstarters, but there were groups of single individuals. A lot of them sometimes were divorced with kids that decided to come together and buy a home. I always say be careful of that, because what happens when everybody's lives progress differently,
Yep.
and it's, you can't sell your portion of the home and get the money for
Right.
that and give that to somebody else. Awesome. So you got the unicorn Travis, and you guys are doing this stuff back and forth.
Hmm.
What was the home shopping experience like for you? Now you closed in March, which means in Michigan you were shopping for homes in November, December, January, February. How was that?
So I only looked at 3 homes. Um, so we went to one that was nearby a friend, right? A friend sent me this home. He's like, "You have to look at this house." And I was like, "Travis, I have to look at this house. I've been told." And it was one of those that like it went on the market on Thursday. I sent it to Travis. We got a booking to see it on Saturday, and by that point they said have all your bids in by Monday at noon. And I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, okay," because this was my first experience. I had been just kind of from the back watching, and so we went and I walked around and I was like, "It's nice, but if I'm gonna have to like compete for it, I don't know if I want to."
Okay.
And then he was like, things will warm up in the spring. I was like, I believe you. You're the expert. But then he just sent me 2 homes out of the blue, and said, what about these two? And the first one, I was like, that looks perfect. It's exactly what I want. Let's go look at it. And the second one, why not? So we went to the first one. I walked in and I wanted to walk out like immediately.
Great lesson. Great lesson. What you think online may, I know the punchline here, and the other one that was no big deal.
I walked in and I went, I want to live here. I walked in
Oh,
and I was like, this is it. And like, I will say, like, one of the things about that were the pictures on the Zillow and Realtor did that house dirty. Like, it
yeah.
did not look nearly as beautiful, adorable as it was in person.
3
Um,
million realtors, 2.5 million of them suck. So he took terrible pictures, and his seller should hang him for that, because hi, how do you sell a house today? Like, if you don't have great pictures, that's like the simplest thing a realtor can do. Hire a professional photographer. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So you got the wonderful surprise. Were you
Yes.
bummed out when you went to the first one and like, I like this one way better than the second one, and now I have to go to this other one I don't even like?
I was like optimistic. I don't know. I was like, maybe this is just the way it was supposed to be. And at that point, like Travis had really built my trust. Because at that first house, I walked in and I just was like, I don't like it, but I'm gonna walk around. And he just kept pointing out things. He goes, "That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem." And I was like, okay, I like that
Validating your
you're,
feelings.
yes, you're helping me because I'm also looking at this by myself, right? So a second set of eyes that I could trust was really nice. And so, yeah, we went to that second home and I was like, all right, I guess, let's see. At this point, I'm not losing anything. But yeah, I walked in and I just looked at him. I said, I want this house. So,
Another great point. The trust in the relationship with the realtor when you are a single male or female buyer, doesn't matter. Having that individual you can bounce something off of, that you trust.
Hmm.
That is a huge deal. What I think the trust also really got built up because he said, well, there won't be anything, there'll be a lot more in the spring.
Hmm.
But because you guys had been, I mean, people go 3 homes. That's crazy. You should have looked at a lot more. You did online.
Hmm. Yes.
And because of all that work you guys did together, that trust is so important because then when you find a home, your realtor can either tell you, hey, I know what's going on the market right now. Slow down. You
Hmm.
don't have to jump at this one. Or I know what's going on in the market right now. We need to go to the trunk of my car and write the offer right now. Um,
Right.
how cool that you had
Yeah.
the companion.
Yes. And we were walking through the house. That house, right? The first one I had looked at had been on the market for like 4 days before it sold, right? The second one I looked at when he sent it to me had been on the market for a day. This one
Yeah.
had been on the market for 3 months.
Ooh,
And
what was
so
unique about it?
we were walking around going, why is this still on the market? Why is this still on the market? So he's like, I'll reach out to their realtor and I'll figure out why it's still on the market. So
What was the answer?
there's a wall in the basement that is a little water damaged, for lack of better terms. It looks like it's bowing. And so I think that was freaking people out. And I went, all right, let's look at it again. And then this time I brought my dad in, who has his building license and is pretty well versed in that kind of stuff. And he looked at it. He goes, this is an easy fix. So,
Your dad's awesome because I'll tell you a little secret. In real estate, we call dads deal killers. They come into home inspections and screw everything up. You got a
yep.
bitchin' dad. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not just because he said yes, because obviously Travis didn't care what house you buy. He wants you to buy the right one, but that's cool. He knew that everyone else is freaking out about something that they shouldn't have to.
Yeah, and then we did I put my offer in, we did the inspection, and the home inspector said the exact same thing my dad said. So I was like, cool.
That's awesome. Was there anything else with the inspection, with the appraisal process? Like once you got in a contract, was there? I mean, a lot of it's going to be a surprise. Was there
Mhm.
stuff that like you had no idea about, or little lessons you can give to the people?
I don't think anything was like a full surprise, but it was kind of nice. I walked through through with the home inspector, and he was explaining things to me. Like, I still have galvanized pipes and I will want to replace them one day, right? And he's telling me these things that are like, this is a thing that might go wrong. And I had had a friend who had just had an issue with galvanized pipes. So I was like, I know that one.
What years?
Um,
How old's the house?
Oh, I should know this, but it's the 40s, I want to say, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what year.
Yep. Start saving right now. And you know how
Yep.
you do that? Automate it.
Yes. Well, that's how I saved the money for the down payment is I automate. I didn't know how much money I had in that account until I needed to look at it.
Where'd you learn that?
Um,
The credit union or the podcast? Be
the
honest.
podcast.
Okay.
Yes, the podcast.
Awesome.
I did that one before I even went to the credit union. I was like, I started doing this. They called me the squirrel because I had accounts, like a bunch of different accounts. I had my bill paying account, I had my down payment account, I had my emergency fund account, which I
Yep.
had never had before listening to your podcast. And I was like, I should start an emergency fund. And then last year, when I had to have my hip replaced, I was very thankful for the emergency fund.
Oh
So,
my
because I
goodness.
didn't have to dip into my down payment fund at all.
Oh my gosh. Incredible.
Mhm.
Another way you and my wife are in common. She said both her hips replaced. And we're
Yeah,
not old.
no, not at all.
How'd it going? Are you feeling bionic? Is
I
it good?
do. I'm a little sad they didn't put like hydraulics in it because that would have been cool. But I feel so much better. And yeah,
What was
it.
it? I'm sorry. Hey,
No, you're
hey,
good.
listeners, welcome to Medical Talk. Was it degenerative? Was it a family thing, or do
Yeah.
you ride horses or something?
I have hypermobility spectrum disorder, so I've had my shoulder fixed. I'll have to probably have all of my joints fixed at some point.
Wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
My joints just go too far and then they get damaged. So,
Oh my gosh. Okay, when mine do that, they just stop working and I fall down.
yeah.
So, uh, did that affect? Does that affect single story stairs for
So
you at this point?
we talked about it a lot, and I was originally looking for homes that were not stairs, but the house I bought is. Um, I do stairs in my townhouse, so I was like, I know I can do it right now. And that was the other thing when looking for my first home is that this might not be my house forever. And so there's not that pressure of like thinking about like, okay, well, when I'm in my later generations, my later decades, am I gonna
You
still
could
like
say it,
this?
my age. That's fine.
But so like my parents have lived in the same house my whole life. So like living in one house seems like what you're supposed to do. And I was like, I don't have to. This is my first home and I love it right now and I'm sure I'll love it for a long time. But it doesn't mean it's gonna be the only house I ever own.
The unicorn lender I've only got one in the whole country that does everything, and that's Kelly Court and her team. And Kelly always says, because we're both in our, I don't know if she's in her 50s because she looks about 35, but I'm assuming she might be close to my age. But
Mhm.
we always say things have changed. In this last generation, things have changed. Your parents owning their home forever, and that's it. It just doesn't happen like that anymore. And Kelly's the best. She says, this is your first home, not your last. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that she drilled that into you and ended up being, and that's, but it is something you have to think about is stairs. And, if you do have, some, I regret my stairs right now just because I'm old. But what kind of basement did you get? Are you utilizing the basement or is it just storage?
It's an unfinished basement, so just
Okay, cool.
storage right now. Basements kind of creep me out, even finished ones, so I'm cool with not kind of being down there.
So your housewarming gift, someone you asked for a giant flashlight so you can go down there and just like blow it out and get your Christmas stuff. And then don't go back down for another couple months.
My friend was over there with me the other day. I was like, will you go down into the basement with me? I need to get some paint. And he's like, how long have you been waiting? I was like, couple of days
So
until
you
I didn't
came
have to
over.
go down there by myself. Yes.
So then talk to us about the options and the compromises because you got so excited about the backyard. Was the backyard something you talked about with Travis, your unicorn realtor, or was that an extra that came with this house?
So yeah, that was one of the things I knew I wanted. I grew up gardening, all of that stuff, and it's been so before I was in this townhouse, I was renting a house with a friend, and so we had a backyard, and I missed it. And I don't have any dogs currently, but now that I have a yard, I feel like it's only a matter of time. So yeah, I knew that I wanted a yard, but it's just bigger and better. And there's a deck that I can just kind of hang out in my
No
backyard.
way.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you talked about this being not like your parents' house. It's not going to be the house forever, and which makes people think, oh, it's temporary. Well, not really. You just talked about the fact that you didn't own a dog, and now that is a 100% a possibility for your life.
Yeah. Some of the things I got that I wasn't expecting. I wanted a two-bedroom. I got three, and one of the rooms is giant. It used to be two rooms. They knocked out a wall, so it is 24 by 16.
Whoa. So it was a 1900 square foot 4 bedroom. How many baths?
One and a half.
4 bedroom, one and a half. And
Mhm.
then they did, a lot of people will do that. So did you turn that into your master?
No, I did not. It is so all of my friends have different ideas of what to do with the room, so it's a combination. It is well, I'm calling it my hobby room. There is a table and bookshelves for D&D. There's an area for because I'm theater oriented. There's a space for choreographing and things like that. My office is in there as well. So
Oh, we had that too. We had a room with does it have a closet?
it has two, and they're huge.
Did you get the mirrored doors?
No.
That's what you do. Start saving up. Get the mirrored closet sliders,
Uh-huh.
and you have a dance studio
Oh yeah.
for
That
choreography.
was my friend's first comment. She's like, we could do a dance. We could have a dance studio in here because it's hardwood floors too.
Oh my gosh.
So the people who owned it before me were photographers, and they used that as their studio.
Wow. And
Hmm.
and this was the one that you thought, I'm gonna love the first one, but I'll go look at the second one.
Exactly. Yep.
And then you ended up buying in the window of opportunity that I talked about last year.
Hmm.
thanks to the relationship with Travis and thanks to Kelly and your credit union getting you set up for the years ahead of time.
Yes.
Um, how was your closing? Because all we hear is horror stories. If yours was bad, that's cool. We'll learn from it. Or did it go regular?
My closing was great. I
Dude.
did my final. So originally, the sellers had asked for 20 days post closing to get out. I was like, makes sense. Um, but they were out by closing. So I went and I did my walkthrough the morning of closing and got handed my key and then went to closing and met the sellers, and they were really great. And they showed me pictures of the house when they had looked at it because they bought it 4 years prior. And so they just, the husband had written me down everything, but then told me everything again. So like when trash day is and when this is and when that is and how to hook into the my my outdoor lights, my like front porch lights. I have an app so I can change the color of them, and
Oh my God.
so yep. So they were great. And it was, it was a lot of signing, but it was fun.
It is really fun. You do get a cramp in your hand, but it's
Yes.
really fun.
Yeah.
You sign your life away. All right. So you jump from 7 to 14, 50.
Mhm.
Within those couple of years, were you just putting 700 a month into the down payment account as like a practice?
Yeah, around that, yes.
Okay.
And then also like I in my new job have started making commission. So my commission just goes into my savings. So I never actually know how much it is. Um, so yeah.
Have you looked into adjusting your taxes as a homeowner or since you just closed in March? Sorry, let's rephrase that. You just closed in March. Make sure you look into adjusting your taxes with your CPA over the next couple of months.
Okay.
Because if the commissions slow down, there's a chance that you could actually get more money back from your paycheck. Is it a W-2 job? Because you're
Yes.
commission.
Yep.
So it's a base salary plus commission.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing. What's interesting to me is there will be people that are looking at $100,000 home and thinking, I'm not even close. I'm 2 or 3 years out. They're the same people that are looking at $700,000 and $800,000 homes and thinking the same thing. The lesson is you would have, if you hadn't done the work yourself, because you did it, if you hadn't done that, you'd be 38, 39 thinking, okay, I got to buy a house before I'm 40. And
Mm.
no judgment. It's just math. Like that would have been 3 or 4 or 5 years of extra payment to a landlord, not to yourself.
Yes. And that's the like the goal, not the goal, the like dream of like just being able to go buy a home is nice, but it's not realistic. Like to look at it and go, all right, there's work to do, there's math to do, and I can do it. So,
Yes, you can. It was
mhm.
funny. You were like, I just kept saying positive, and I was like, I wonder why. You can do
Yes.
this.
I literally like there are moments where I would be talking to my friends and I was like, well, David says, and they're like, who is David? My friend. Don't
He's
worry about
my
it.
friend. Well, don't keep me a secret. Share it with them too.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Well, it's so funny. I started the podcast in 2019. The time I was 13 years into real estate. So about the fourth year or so is when the words rent replacement strategy came out of my mouth. I've been saying that for 15, 16 years because Southern California, there's not a $170,000 house. So my friends who work at Disneyland are the nicest people in the world. They make teacher money. I've been having to figure out once that light bulb switches where it's a rent replacement strategy. And a lot of my friends are creative. So it takes a little while for them to get the math, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Um, but you sound like when that math hit you, that was your big light bulb moment.
When I could break it down and go, okay, well, if I save this much a month, it's going to take me X amount of time. And right. And so I could figure it out. And with my teacher salary, I couldn't put away a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
I tried, but I couldn't put away as much as like I would have wanted to. So the career change and the the pay increase really helped me out there. So
Okay, last question on that because I'm curious. Which came first, chicken or the egg? Career change before house decision, or you saw your loan approval and said, I need to do a different job so I can own a home?
career change came first. After the hip replacement, I thought standing on my feet. I was a drama teacher,
Oh my
so
God.
I was up and around with the kids, and I was like, I maybe need a job where I'm not so active. It was a hard decision, but it was the right decision for me, and it helped that it also came with a substantial increase in pay. And then once I like really started looking into how much am I making now, I was like, wait, hold on, I think I could buy a house now. I was like, all right, so kind of uh, that was like, oh wait, we might have met the goal because I was never really looking into that account, and then I looked and I was past what my goal had been to save, and I was like, we're ready, and so then I got back hold of the court team, and yep, and then we went from there.
What was your down payment goal? Were you at 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%?
3.5%.
An FHA 3.5% loan. Hey, everybody out there, 48% of the people think that you need 20% down to buy a house. Most first-time home buyers use 3.5%. The average first-time home buyer last year was around 8%. But most of the people that I know who didn't get, God bless you, money from mom and dad or whatever, those people put 20% down. Most of the people who do the rent replacement strategy use the FHA 3.5% down.
Yep, it was beautiful.
And it also, even though you had super credit, the thing about FHA is you a lot of times you'll get a better interest rate, and it's more flexible with you can get a lower credit score. Not that you needed it because of the work you did, but the really cool thing is it also allows you a higher debt to income ratio. So, are your student loans a big chunk of your monthly debt to income ratio now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not as bad as they could be, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I hear people talk about it who have it much, much worse than me. So,
Yeah, no, I hear the average. Gosh, I did the show maybe 2 years ago, and the average was like $38,000. And I was like, I've had people on the show that are like 200, 300. So,
mm,
but by initially, when you had zero credit, by working that credit plan with guidance, you kept it so you had a low debt to income ratio. It's so funny. People will say, I make this much money. Can I buy a house? I'm like, there's a huge other factor involved here. How much other money are you putting out? And the fact that you grew your score and that you were conscious of your other debt out, and then you realized the student loan was going to be the issue. So let's work around that. And then you shot for that 3.5%. Now, did you shoot for just 3.5%, or did you add the closing costs to make it like 5?
my goal was 3.5% and add the closing costs, and
Nice.
then I got the um, first time home buyers assistance, which meant
Wait, you got a grant?
yeah,
Awesome. Was it local or national?
it was a Michigan
It was
based
a
one.
Michigan one. Okay, cool.
Yep. And so I was like, wait, my account's not empty. Like I still have money in
Yes.
there, which means I can be a little calmer right now with like my first month's payment into escrow. So
Yes. Well, let's see. You closed in March. You don't make a payment till June 1st, right?
May 1st.
Oh, May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, March. Oh, April. So you got
Yep.
April for free. Okay,
Yep.
cool. People always say, David, what are you doing? And I was just talking to my wife about it today. And I'm like, there's like a million first time home buyers every year. I don't need every single one of them to call me and work with a unicorn. I don't care. The concept that you just can't there's just too much. You need to find somebody, whether you find them on your own, because you hear me say, go do that, or you ask for a unicorn. Great. They happen to be badass.
Yes.
But just to know, hey, if you just look at, well, I need 3.5% down and 3% for closing costs, so I got to keep saving. Well, but then you won't, if you're not working with somebody, you won't know that maybe you can get a grant.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're working off numbers that are incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are, you're so super chill.
We talked through everything. I mean, we talked through, the first time home buyers grant. We talked through because I've had quite a few jobs in my life, and I have 401ks built up. So could I borrow against that? Right. So we talked through every scenario to figure out what was the right scenario for me that made sense, that was gonna, work to my benefit rather than my detriment. And so I felt like I went into it super informed about my choices and what we were doing and why we were doing it, which was awesome because I didn't know anything about any of this. So,
Okay, I'm writing this down. That's the unicorn experience I want everyone to have,
yes.
whether it's with the unicorns that I know or unicorns you find. Super informed experience.
Yeah.
That's going to be the name of this podcast.
I
Because
loved my unicorn lender team. Oh my gosh, loved them.
who did you deal with, Kelly? Did you deal with any of the other people on the team?
Jen was my main contact, and I love her so much. Like, I looked forward to our calls. I worked with April and Kelly, I think.
Kelly's the big boss.
Wait, hold on. Kelly Court.
Kimberly Kelly.
Yes.
Yes,
I was like, her name
go.
also had Kelly in it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Yes,
they were fantastic. And they were just cheerleaders, which was so great.
So that team and I have been talking for years. Wouldn't it be nice if this service that we give, like when we have parents say, will you help my kid buy a house? That's where this all kind of started. When we were giving, this extra love to people, it's just hard to advertise that experience. So that's why my dumb ass is here on the microphone. That's and it's not a call center. It's not an online person. I know that Jen and Kelly, and then like they've got Nancy, and they've got like one of them takes every single weekend. So somebody's there. You're not waiting Monday morning till 9:00, like those homes where you've got somebody that is, saying your offers Monday at noon is late. I have people that say Sunday at 6. Tough to put an offer in if you can't get a hold of your lender.
Yeah.
Honestly, everybody out there, we talked for about 3 minutes. I did not ask for any of this commercial stuff. It's just a thing that we've created that people can find. And drama teacher turned software engineer. After the podcast, we're going to talk about how to turn your giant room into an acting studio, and I'll give you social media tips so you can build up a private business for the weekends.
I think it's a great idea.
So you can still do some of your drama teaching, and we'll get you a chair.
Yeah.
So,
like a director's chair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a beret and a scarf.
Ooh, yeah. Necessary. Yeah.
Awesome. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for the tips. And I'm so proud of you for the work that you did to get here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have one thing to say to you. You did this. Good job.
Thank you.
I freaking love Claudia. Oh, the single lady crushing it with persistence and a plan. Homies, this story should have given you tons of great tips. If you're looking for more, or if you're brand new, start at episode 301. That's where you're going to find the 10 basic steps on how to buy a home. And if you want more stories like Claudia, scroll through the podcast library. Just look for the word interview. And if you're listening to all those people talk about their process, but you're kind of confused by some of the terminology that's going on, you want the introduction to real estate lingo, hit episode 94. That starts the A to Z glossary. And if you're still stuck, well, just go to howtobuyahome.com. You can ask David. Hit that button and I'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. You know what? You could even ask me for a unicorn. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyahome.com to get started.